After a series of good or probably great MCU films so far, we finally got an absolute shitter. But before that, um, subscribe. it is important to subscribe. Many of you are not subscribed, so please, with all due respect, subscribe below. So this is probably a long overdue video. You guys probably already watched plenty of Eternals movie review or even the whole film itself. It's already out for so long. So if you haven't watched it, go have a watch and see for yourself whether you like it or not. There is gonna be spoilers in this video. Yeah, watch it at your own risk, I guess. If you wanna get spoiled, then go ahead and watch this video until the end. If you don't want to get spoiled, then go watch the movie and then come back to this review. Make sure you do. Ever since Far From Home, I already knew like this is gonna be like a new direction for the entire like MCU and whatever. So I didn't expect like huge bangers straight out of the gate. It's like kind of the start of the first MCU films that came out, like Captain America, Iron Man 1, Thor. You couldn't really know where it was all heading. So it's the same kind of like thought going into all of these films that are coming out right now. I was excited for Eternals because one, obviously the star-studded cast and all of that, but also these are introduction to all of these heroes in the films. I knew when I was going into Eternals it's gonna be like new, fresh things straight out of the gate, and there's gonna be a lot of like character development going on because it's gonna set the stage for future films and all. So I watched it and I think it's quite mediocre. So let's address the good things first of this film. I think the film is straight great in its visuals. This is something that Marvel has already come a long way, and any films that they're gonna do from now on is gonna have great visual effects. If it doesn't have great visual effects, I don't know what it is then. Marvel has a good track record of producing quality films with great visual effects, and it's just beautiful to watch, and Eternals is no different. I completely enjoy from start to finish. Like the whole visual and how it looked was very beautiful. The space related scenes where like Arisham's design and the earth and all the space stuff, they did it very well. It was very beautiful to watch. I also like the characters' costumes because they are sort of elegant in a way, and they have their weapons all in like gold color, which was like very subtle but also very cool and very well done. That's basically it. So the film was wrong in many places. Now the plot idea is actually pretty good. Like I get the plot, I get the idea. I think the way they executed wasn't really amazing at all. Again, having all these characters in a film is not gonna be easy to do. You have to build each of these characters and their own story and their own personality, their values and whatever. To build that is gonna be pretty hard because you have so much characters in them. We saw it in Avengers 1, you have like Hawkeye and Black Widow, which were very much introduced at the early stage. When you first watch them, you kind of don't know what they're all about. They have like some sort of history going on, but they didn't really show much. But what they did beautifully is that throughout the next series of films like Avengers 2, Winter Soldier, Civil War, they build these characters, Hawkeye and Black Widow. They sort of have this development going on throughout the films. So it's what I'm expecting for Eternals as well, because trust me, there are characters in this film that I feel they don't have much development going on. But I do think and I do expect that they would have development or future storylines for them in the upcoming films. Characters like Druid.
Also, this guy probably has the most hardest name to actually pronounce. I don't know whether it's Druid, Droog, or Druig. I feel like it's Druig.
Which I think he had like one particular scene where he actually like shines and shows his like perspective and his way of thinking. Makari, I feel like could be an amazing character if they explained and give her own moments of shining, which couldn't really get much of. Like she did shine in places where there were fight scenes, that's definite, but it wasn't strong enough on other scenes. Like you couldn't really get what was her story like, what was her way of thinking. But again, that's what I expect for the next few films. Like they're probably gonna give her more time, more screen time to shine out and give her ideas and have some sort of impact in the story. Moving on to some other characters like Ajax.
And by that I mean Ajax. I don't know why there's a S in my pronunciation.
I think it's probably the most underwritten character in the entire film. She plays this leader kind of role coming into the film, which is great. I get that idea. And she has moments where she does like sort of have an opinion and she makes some sort of impact. But other than that, I just feel like she was there to die and give some sort of character development to Icarus, which I think they did a great job. I think Icarus was probably the most strongest character build in the entire film. I think his character was very well written, very well developed. You get some sort of value from that guy, and he has major impact in the story, of course. I feel like Kingo's character was pretty great until the fact that I realized that he was probably there for the sense of humor. He and his assistant Karun, which is my favorite person in the entire of this film, Karun, it sort of felt like they were just there for comedic relief, shall we say. Dana, played by Angelina Jolie. I was actually interested with that character because she has like some sort of like the rogue face. That is something that they sort of explain a little bit but didn't really carry on much. I wish they had. After that, it was pretty much another character in the film. That's it. I feel like Cersei's character had the most screen time in the entire of the film, but at the same time wasn't really strong enough. I can't get anything from this character. Another thing I feel like the film did a poor job in was the entire pace of this film. This film was 2 hours and 35 minutes, which is not that long if you compare to other Marvel films, but it felt like it's more than 3 hours. The film had moments where I felt like it was very much draggy, it was so slow, and it was so dull. Like you're basically just watching the film because you have to in order to understand everything. You could just use that time to sleep, most probably. Pacing was just too slow for me, and it was very much draggy, so I didn't really like the flow of the film, to the point where I had my friend saying that don't sleep. Also, we had the villains for this film, which I feel like they are so worse. I would put this guy in the worst villain of Marvel film before Eternals, but after watching this movie, I understand that there needs to be a new contender or new winner, to be honest, for this title. At the start of the film, you kind of have a feeling, okay, this is the villain, all right. Let's understand what is he all about, like what is his objective, what is his aim. And he sort of had his moment where he talks and says something about his species, but he wasn't really that much big of a deal. He had probably very least scenes. You don't want to do that to your villains. He just appeared in this scene and then that scene and then this scene, and then at the final battle, after so long, he appeared out of nowhere. He just walks from the sea and he interferes in the fight, and then he starts fighting and then he dies. It wasn't strong enough, the way they build his character, the way they showed whatever he wants to do in the film, and he just died like so yeah, I think Eternals, it wasn't a trash film. At the end of the day, I feel like there are much more shittier films from Marvel than Eternals, but it's not a great film either. I would give this film a very average score. Will I play this movie on a repeat? Hell no. But I have a few expectations of this film. Like I said before, it's all the start. These are the introduction for the characters. You get to know each one of them. Although I would have liked some characters to shine through in the first film itself, I do understand that they can get enough screen time for the next films, and they would play probably a huge role. So that one, we have to wait and see. So with that being said, I'll probably give this film a 6 out of 10. I'm also surprised that many people really put this film on a very high score. I mean, we have a 9 out of 10 out of nowhere, 0.5 out of 10, and then we have a couple of 7 out of 10s here. I'm gonna stick with 6 out of 10, and that would be my rating for this film. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this review. If you guys want to see more reviews on films that you like, you can drop your suggestions below and I'll have a watch maybe and give you a review. Or even TV shows from Netflix, I can give a review for that as well. So drop your suggestions below. Hope you guys enjoy it. Subscribe, and I'll see you soon.